So I've been dipping my toe back into the world of roller coasters here over this past year with the full force of a self-proclaimed enthusiast. But I gotta be honest with you. I gotta come clean. I have a confession. I have a really low credit count, okay? I said it. Now you're wondering, how low is low? I'm at 70, okay? You know, maybe it means nothing. Or maybe it just means everything. Because originally I thought I didn't care. I didn't pay any mind to the numbers. I just rode for the sake of riding. But little by little, I found myself counting at my park visits. I even went back and retroactively added up all the coasters I went on as a kid growing up. And then I realized once you get to that point where you're riding coasters that you know are gonna be terrible just for the sake of having ridden them, yeah, I guess I care. That means I care. So I'm embracing it now. So I added up all my old credits from back in the day. I was around 40, 45. And over the past year, you know, some of the new ones, I'm at 70. Which, you know, it feels a little embarrassing. It feels a little pathetic. So I'm working on it. Because 100 feels like a good round number to where I can finally stand proud as an enthusiast. You know what I mean? So I'm gunning for 100. So with that said, let's get it started. This is me admitting to you that I am late to the lift, yo. I have a low credit count, but that's not holding me back. And I don't think it makes me any less of an enthusiast, but I'd like to be at 100. So here's my climb, getting closer to 100, starting off down at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, in San Antonio. And so the mission continues at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, on a perfectly bearable, not too humid late April Texas day, even for a spoiled Southern Californian. It was my first time in this unique park, a fitting setting for the next step in my climb up the credit mountain, where number 71 wound up being Dr. Diabolical's cliffhanger, a perfectly fine B&M dive, but nothing groundbreaking. As somebody used to my home park's compact model, Emperor, I thought I'd prefer the larger versions, but honestly, they're not much stronger in my opinion, if at all. Shout out to the pre-show though. It totally caught me off guard and set a thematic tone for the day at what is surprisingly a very well-themed Six Flags park. For number 72, it was time for a spin on an old classic that I hadn't had the chance to ride since I was a teenager. Boomerang Coast to Coaster. Truthfully, I was dreading this a little bit because, you know, old Vacomas. But this was good. The vest restraints helped a lot, and that backwards cobra roll actually disoriented me way more than I expected. Props to Fiesta, Texas for keeping it in top shape. Number 73 was Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster. I love RMC coasters. I really enjoy the single rail experience, and this won't be the last one of these on this list, but I do gotta be honest, this was the worst of them. I drew the blue train, and there was an intense rattle that whole way through that really started to chip away at the ride experience. Still, I'm glad I went on it, because a few months earlier, I had the chance to ride its mirror image twin. Number 74, RailBlazer at California's Great America. This was one of my most anticipated recent new credits. Getting to ride both prototypes within months of each other made the comparison easy. RailBlazer was the stronger of the twins. Smoother, punchier, and the layout on the ground around the ride lets you observe the action up close, which made for a great atmosphere, especially for someone on the nerdier side like myself. More from this park and RMC later, but for now, back to Texas. For number 75, I hopped on Goliath. Or is it Chupacabra? I really don't know. There were signs for both names. It's extremely confusing. But regardless, this was a nice invert. Surprisingly smooth and comfortable considering it's had 3 homes since 1995. I am genuinely confused about the name though, so I guess I can just pick whichever I want. So in that case, Chupacabra surprised me a little bit here. Another surprising entry was Superman Krypton Coaster, number 76 for me here. Look, the handful of older B&M experiences that I've had over the past year were surprisingly disappointing. Riddler's Revenge, Rougarou, and believe it or not, even Incredible Hulk all banged my head enough against those terrible 2000s B&M restraints to leave me disappointed. So I was honestly wary of this one, but man, it delivered. Great first drop, awesome interaction with the quarry wall, and that loop with Superman standing triumphantly above it is iconic. Very, very pleasant surprise there. Lucky number 77 was another wild card, Poltergeist. This is one I remember being in awe of from behind my computer screen back in my first stint as a coaster enthusiast when I was a kid. But we all know how some coasters age, and I've been vocal in the past about my lack of enthusiasm for Premier coasters.
Sorry, Premier, I just don't like this lava, man.
So the best I can say here is that it was just okay. Lap bars only is definitely a plus, and the queue and station theming was fantastic, especially for an older Six Flags ride. But after the launch and first 3 elements, boy did it get boring. But all of these are just nice bonus credits compared to the main reason why I incorporated a detour all the way down to Fiesta, Texas, in the middle of a trip to Austin. Number 78 is Iron Rattler. If you watch my Cedar Point pilgrimage video, you will see a grown man awestruck by the beautiful power of a top-tier RMC hybrid.
I'm speechless, man. It's so good. I must come back.
I knew I was gonna love this one, and it was just a matter of how much. Obviously, being one of the early designs, I knew it wasn't gonna be a number 1, but I was still extremely impressed. This thing was riding glass smooth and so enjoyable. The first drop is incredible with that classic Rattler curve off the quarry wall, and other highlights were those overbanked slower curves back on top of the wall and the subsequent second drop back down into the valley. I even really appreciated the lone inversion layout here, as it allowed me to appreciate the terrain coaster vibe. 4 laps in total for me on this particular day, and I had the chance to end with back-to-back front and back row laps, all in the warm San Antonio rain, which only added to the experience. I'm a huge fan of this one and definitely found it worth the trek. So that was the vibe over at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. Awesome day over there. It's a great park. Super high quality Six Flags park. You gotta love that. I missed out on a couple credits that day. The free spin, the 4D free spin, the line was like 2 hours consistently all day. That was not gonna happen. The spinning coaster, I didn't even really see it. I didn't really know it was there. I kind of neglected it, that's okay. And the mine train was closed the whole day. That was unfortunate. I was looking forward to that one. I was probably gonna really dig that one. But, you know, not bad for a couple hour day down at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. But don't get it twisted. I'm not talking to you sub 80 coasters right now. I also went over to California's Great America. I filmed it, got on a bunch of coasters there, but haven't done anything on YouTube about it. So let's keep this list going. Racing the forthcoming expiration date over at California's Great America, I knew I needed to take the opportunity to add their collection before it's too late. So for number 79, we have Flight Deck. I was a big fan of the just not Top Gun enough theming to be acceptable post-Paramount days, and the ride experience was another surprisingly positive one for me. I really enjoyed this layout, especially that second half gliding over the lake. Extremely enjoyable for an old B&M member. And number 80, Patriot, on the other hand, was exactly what you'd expect from an original stand-up turn floorless coaster from 1991. Not terrible, just entirely forgettable. Another old wild card at number 81 was Demon. Now this is my kind of old school chaos. It's rough, janky, and just creepy enough to be memorable. Perfectly bad in all the right ways. Ride defensively and you'll be rewarded with a nostalgic punch of late 70s aerodynamics energy. Just be careful on that second vertical loop. It whips your head right back into the headrest every time. Grizzly, on the other hand, well, let's just say number 82 wins the Credit Filler Award for this list. I would have to say this one was hands down the most boring coaster of my first year back into the hobby. I've got nothing nice to say about it except it got me one closer to 100. Gold Striker at number 83 was another highly anticipated credit. I've heard really good things and was curious to see if it challenged Ghost Rider at Knott's as a top woody, but I hate to say it, this one disappointed. Each of my 3 rides was too rough for me to love it. It had the intensity, but not the rewritability. CGA as a whole, I'm definitely glad I went, but to be honest, I get why it's on the chopping block. It feels dated in a part of the Bay Area that's clearly outgrown it. Between the Niners Stadium and tech campuses, it's hard to picture the new Six Flags justifying the survival of this park with a lineup of mostly beyond aging coasters. I highly suggest prioritizing a trip soon if you don't have these yet, because I have a feeling they're going to pull the plug on this one sooner rather than later. And finally, to round out my credit climb here, I also had the chance to get back over to Magic Mountain and tack on 2 more that I previously missed from closures. Number 84 is yet another RMC single rail in Wonder Woman Flight of Courage. And of the 3 that I've ridden, this one came out on top. Longer layouts, smoother ops, more rewritable. I was actually able to hit 4 back row laps in a row without even leaving the train, which I definitely couldn't imagine doing on the other 2. The speed and transitions were incredible, with much less shakiness than its predecessors. Now to another California Woody with Apocalypse the Ride. Call me crazy, but I like this one more than Gold Striker. It's relentless, but not punishing. That moment flying through the station mid-ride was a highlight, and for Magic Mountain standards, the slight touch of theming there is a pleasant surprise as well. So there it is, my climb from 70 up to 85. I'm sitting pretty, 85 feels good. Sure feels a lot better than 70. I'm almost at 100, I can feel it. And I'm gonna keep my climb going. I know it's gonna happen very soon. I'm a man on a mission now. And I'm gonna bring it here to you. So, until next time, as I continue my way up the ladder to 100 credits. Appreciate you watching. Peace. One time for the underdogs, all the square pegs, never quite fitting in and couldn't care less.